So, mate, I remember your parents booked with us a few times. Where were they, in Cumnock, or were they?
Yeah, they were Cumnock.
Yeah.
And I was born in Orange, so that's where I grew up.
But they were on the land, weren't they?
They were. My brother's still on the land, running the same farm.
Right.
40 miles west of Orange.
What? Oh, okay. So that's where Cumnock actually is, or that comes under the banner of Orange?
No, that's right. It goes Orange, Molong, Cumnock, then Yeovil, and then on to Dubbo.
Oh, okay. I get you. So that's fine. That's interesting. Reason I raised that we're actually at 2,200 bookings for Rugby World Cup, and there's a lot of people from the countryside. Blokes like Joe Goldsworthy from Tamworth, Murray Harton from Moree, Bruce Warboys, Coffs Harbour, and all that. They've all got a big following, but we're actually doing a couple of rural tours with, like, Bo Robinson's got one as well, which is just purely going to farms. And so, and who's the guy that's with Bo?
Pat McCutcheon.
Oh, that's right, Pat McCutcheon. They're going together, so they're real bushies from out the back of Dubbo, and Bo's in Dubbo. So there is a big contingent of farming people and so on. And so did you go to school start at King's, or did you go to a primary school first? And
I went to the local Cumnock Primary School, and then I went to Tudor House for 2 years.
Oh, that's Barrel Way, isn't it?
Down Moss Vale, yeah. So I went down there, and then I went to King's for 6 years. So I was boarding for 8 years.
Right, so, which is a fair bit. I was talking to Dean Mum yesterday. His tour's just about sold out. He's got a really big following and so on. And he's talking about his days at King's and all that sort of stuff. And, when they went on tour, they had half of the bloody Waratahs in the team. And the problem, that was fine, and they belted everyone. Well, the following year they went again, and everybody was ready for them, except they weren't quite as strong, so they got touched up. They got touched up on quite a few tours and so on. So when you left King's, did you go into the building industry straight away?
No, I did a business administration commerce degree at Bathurst, Mitchell College as it was back then, now Charles Sturt University. Right. And then I started with Caltex in 81, and then I went into the construction industry in 83, and I've been in it ever since.
Are you experiencing the same problems with supply and labour and all that so many people I talk to seem to be undergoing at the moment?
Yeah, no, very hard to find people, and very hard to get certain products that have been affected by COVID.
Yeah, timber and stuff like that, and etc. It's just even running short of cement, and I reckon sand will be the next big shortage and so on. So it's not easy, is it? I know some blokes that been trying to get timber flooring now for about 6 weeks and so on. They've had to put it back when they're ready. And of course it holds up everything else after it and so on. So it's not an easy game, is it?
No, I think structural steel's gone from 3,000 a tonne to 25,000. So
yeah, very hard to factor that in, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you just can't do a fixed contract, so you'll just get killed. So yeah, look, it's pretty symptomatic of the industry at the moment. They're really struggling to get supply, particularly if it has to come from overseas.
And the wages demands and so on as well. That's another factor and so on. But so one of the guys I know that's doing a place around the corner from me, his labourers want double what they were getting sort of 6 months ago. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I reckon you've been on more tours with us one way or another than there was a guy, Rob Scott, who was head of history, cricket and rugby at Trinity Grammar. I think he went on about 14. So he had the game sewn up. He'd take the history tours, and when the cricket, he'd go to England on the cricket. In the winter time, he'd take the rugby as well. So he had a very understanding wife. So even now he's retired, he does history tours for us and so on. So he's probably in front still, but you're close on his heels and so on. So when you went away at school, the tour was something that'll never happen again because it went for 6 weeks. And I remember with Andrew Parry was on it and things like that. But you actually it went over Christmas, didn't it? And then I think you went skiing for a week. Can you remember that?
Yeah, no, the one I went on was Singapore and Malaysia. So I don't think it was 6 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks.
No, this has been the big Europe one. I looked at it the other day because we keep a record of all, and Kings has actually been on 27 rugby tours with us in the last 37 years, culminating in Japan where they took 4 teams.
Wow.
One of the things I thought was fabulous, which was innovative of the school, it's always next year's firsts and the A's and all that. And they took a side where it was the B's and C's and that side, which, those kids would always miss out and would want a tour and all that sort of thing. And it was certainly very popular. I think that's a terrific idea, to take some of the B's and C's and so on. So and they went to Japan, but the prep school went as actually. Is there a prep at Kings too? Is there up at Parramatta?
Yeah, it's called Gowan Bray. Yeah,
that was the one that went. Yeah, they went to Japan.
Yeah, no, they've done very well. I'm still pretty close to Andrew Parry, who's now obviously at Kinross in.
Yeah, he's headmaster. Yeah.
Yeah, really good bloke.
Absolutely. So Andrew was probably, they said, like the smallest hooker going around at Gordon, but he played first grade, didn't he? And so on. And then he went across to Oxford and studied and did all that sort of stuff. And now apparently he's pretty happy. I was talking to Stephen James the other day, who knows a tour leader with Tony Shaw. And Stephen was saying that Andrew loves it up there in the bush and so on.
Yeah, no, he loves it. His wife loves it. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, no, it's... and my son-in-law, Trent Dyer, teaches there as head of PE. So, he's gone from Newington to Kinross. Yeah. Oh, really? Because he recently got married to your daughter, didn't he? He got married in November 19, and then they had our first grandchild February this year. So he's now 10 months and running around. So what's his motivation to go up there? He's not from the bush originally, is he? No, his mother's Central Coast, but he just wanted to. It was a big leap of opportunity to be head of PE. So it's a pretty big role, and he's enjoying it. He loves it up there. He's got a really good golf course, country league just up the road, and Andrew is very good to work for. Yeah. Yes, he's a terrific bloke. I was just talking to some of the guys, and I'm asking them questions about France and so on. Did you do 207 with us? I can't. Yeah, that's right. I think I've done 5 tours that I can recall. Yeah, 207 was France being so popular, and people ask me about market research. Will people want to travel, with the situation? The perfect answer is that just on 2,200 people are booked with us for World Cup. So that's a fair indication of people what they want to do. And of course, being France and the rugby and so on, and it's just really caught us on the hop. One example I know, because you're a golfer and so on, usually takes about 18 months to fill a golf tour, and it's into Bordeaux with 5 games of golf and the 2 semis and the final. It actually sold out in a week. Oh, wow. So we just put on a second tour now down in Saint-Tropez and all around that area. But we've always took till the end just to fill it up. And the fact that it sold out in a week with people on a wait list, and that's why we put on a second tour. So I was talking to Robbie Deans, who's a tour leader, yesterday, and of course his wife speaks fluent French and so on. He loves it in Japan. He's going to stay longer, but he's really looking forward to going to. And his opinion, it's probably the most open World Cup ever, with 6 teams that are a very good chance of getting through to the final. Yeah, I agree with that. Would you agree with that? Yeah, I think France are probably favoured to win it at the moment. Yeah, they're all young players, and so they're not over the hill or anything, and they're being home to the opening game was sold out about 2 months ago, with thousands on a wait list and so on. So that's that opening ceremony with the All Blacks play France in that very first game. And wow, that'll be some game. Yeah, we've got a weekend package. We actually just got 200 more
packages for it. So you watch that game on the Saturday or the Friday night, and the Wallabies play the next day in the same stadium. So it's a good package for Aussies to go to and so on. So as you probably know, it's always been about 5 weeks. They've extended it to 6 weeks this time.
Right.
That's a lot longer. And one of the possible casualties of that is, which is unheard of, the Wallabies play their last pool game, and then there's a two-week gap till the quarterfinals.
Oh, really? 2 weeks?
Yeah, they've got to wait 2 weeks to play. With your coaching experience, what would you do with the team re a possible fixture, or would you just more training and contact?
Yeah, it's hard to know, but I think you go through, what is it, 4 pool games?
Yep.
I think you'd probably rest them up, I would say.
Well,
obviously try and have a pretty strong scrimmage that weekend, the middle weekend, and then they're obviously playing the next weekend. But yeah, that's a hard one. But I think after 4 pretty tough games, you'd be carrying a lot of bumps and bruises. So probably a rest would do them the world of good.
Well, it's interesting what you've just said, talking to about 5 or 6 of the tourleaders, from Robbie Deans to Dean Mum and all those guys. Every one of them said the same thing as you. People saying, "Oh, you got to play," and all that. In the league, you have a week off for the grand final, and they always say, "Oh, teams suffer from lack of match play and all that sort of stuff." But as you say, if you've got injuries and that, you don't really want to be taking those into the elimination on the presumption that we get through. It won't be easy with obviously Wales, and would be 50-50 on that. But they reckon Fiji is going to be a lot stronger this time too. So that's very important that we win the pool, because we'll probably play Argentina, which are in preference to England. So, but Argentina's never a pushover, even though.
No, but they're a lot easier than England over there.
Yeah. Well, we found that out in Japan too.
Our biggest hurdle will be Wales, I imagine.
Yeah. Although you would think without some of the key players, as long as we can keep them that weren't there the other day, not that you should be relying on that, but they will make a difference with Karevi and Korobetti and so on. Make the team stronger, but it's another 2 years away for Quade Cooper. So anyway, we'll see what transpires with it all. But as I say, they talk about rugby at grassroots are struggling a bit, but certainly from interest in the game and so on, it's from our barometer, it's an absolute all-time high.
That's good, isn't it? Yeah, I think the grassroots, particularly the sub-districts where I coach, it's pretty, the interest is pretty high.
Yeah. Well, the whole name of the game is to keep the kids playing and providing all that sort of stuff and so on. So basically, already I think we've got 20 on your tour.
Oh, good.
Which is good. Some of the tours, blokes that and all that, they actually sold out really quickly. So yours has been the longer tour and so on. Tony Shaw and Jamesy and Joe Barracat and all those, they're sort of about, other than Tony Shaw's, I think they've had to go to a second coach, but most of the ones people are sort of waiting with the quarters and semis and the final, just into next year, when I think if we got 2,200 bookings, it's just going to go off the scale. So we've actually going to have an issue with supply of further match tickets and so on. So what we've got in place, we're covered, but extra bookings, we're going to have to go and apply for it and so on. So it's certainly, being France, and that, and you've been there several times and so on, everyone just wants to go there, and so it'll be a pretty interesting time, that's for sure.
That's the best one Debbie and I have been on, and we've been to some pretty good ones. South Africa and Japan was good. UK was good. Yeah,
but I think it's just everyone, and basically all the bookings we got are couples. Always remember in '99 we took 1,000 people to Wales. And then in 2003 was here. And of course, when we went to France in 2007, it went from 1,000 to 2,000 because all the wives went as well, instead of mostly blokes to Wales. So that's indicative of this time too, where it's a lot of couples have booked. So from that that argues well for what it is and so on. So mate, I just want to have a quick chat with you and so on. Thanks, mate.
Good to chat to you, Ken.
See you later. Cheers.
See you on the streets.
As they say.